Okay, how wonderful. Everybody's here.
So weird.
Yeah, it is. So the irony was I didn't know what this was going to look like when I started it. But I was going to just judge and see how many folks arrived and what the temperament in the room was, and we're going to take it from there. So everything that I'm about to share with you now is something that I've done before myself. And the reason I think it's time to start sharing this directly is because there's only so much talking I can do, sharing bits of these little bits of advice and insight. But to make it personal and to integrate any of this, you really have to make it your own. And I already do this, and it works, and it's had profound changes in my life, and I wanted to have profound changes in yours. And the first thing I probably need to do is explain what the intention is, if it wasn't already clear for this month. We're going to follow a lunar calendar. We're going to start right at the heart of the new moon, when the moon is no longer visible in the sky. Then we're going to carry on the whole of the lunar month, and we're going to finish again by the time a new moon rolls around. Now, traditionally, skills and insights that we've lost is that the feminine used to be the metronome, the heartbeat of the community. And what we'll all know, which has now become taboo, but it should just be commonplace knowledge for everybody, is that the female menstruation cycle and the moon cycles, they're of a piece. So for 2 weeks of that 4-week cycle, from the new moon to the full moon, the moon waxes and goes from 0 to full over those 2 weeks. And that's the 2 weeks of actualization. And at that moment, that's when ovulation happens, and then the 2 weeks go down towards menstruation, the flow, the release. And during that bottom arc, the feminine principle then does no longer actualize as it integrates. So these are the two pieces of the puzzle: actualization and integration. This concept of being and becoming, which I share often. Now, some of you would have watched or listened to the podcast Being and Becoming. The whole point of that is that we often get lost as to which one of the two we want to be pursuing. Do we surrender to this moment, or do we strive against the moment? And of course, the answer is it's always both. And to be able to tell in any given moment, because there's obviously in our lives, there's cycles within cycles. So there's this perfect lunar cycle of 2 weeks of actualization and 2 weeks of integration. Just a quick side note, at the bottom of that arc, the menstruation, this is the moment leading up to and just past when the feminine principle has to process all the generational trauma. And this is something that only very conscious men can do. Otherwise, it's work that women have to do. And the fact that men are not aware of it means we're looking at the whole of half of society with a blind eye. So how do we start integrating this metronome back into our lives? How do we start realizing that half of our intentionality needs to be one of acceptance and accepting what is and coming to ground and coming to stillness? And then how do we then determine when this corner is turned and we start actualizing again? Now, this doesn't need to sound woo-woo. This is perfectly pragmatic, and we needn't step 1 inch off the square of pragmatism over here. There's obviously cycles within cycles. So there's a prudence to choosing when you spend your time invested outwardly serving people and trying to bring new practices on board and trying to build yourself, And there's prudence in when you step back from demanding social engagements and you step back from serving others, and you serve yourself, and you do the inner child work, and you do the shadow integration. Now, it's very important for me that nobody on this call, or nobody that engages with my work, gets confused that any of this needs to be spiritual junk food. This is absolutely nothing more than psychological self-repair. So underneath all of the babble of our confusion around religion and philosophy and science and ideologies and cultural overlay and the way we were educated and brought up, underneath all of that, some very, very simple human archetypes, just the psychology that we all share, that we all come here with, regardless of when a human being comes into this world, which society they're born in, what kind of life experience they have. There's these things that we all understand. And the better command we have of these understandings, the better understanding we'll have of ourselves without any of the confusion. So the irony is, it's not just in this perfect 2-week sync. Even in a day, we have ultradian rhythms and circadian rhythms. So a circadian cycle is circadia, something that takes 12 hours on and 12 hours off. It's literally the rhythm of a day. And we have these ultradian cycles as well, these 90-minute cycles. Now, during a 90-minute cycle, you can think of it like a nice bell curve. At the top of the bell curve, that's when your energy and your focus is peaking, and then it kind of wanes off, and you have this gap between these 90-minute arcs of like a 20-minute interval in between, when your concentration is not great. Now, you'll notice this when you have long meetings at work. About an hour and a half in a long workshop, you start to wane. If you're running a coaching workshop, you want to give people 90-minute bursts of engagement, and then give them time to rest and integrate and cool off. Because if it's sustained, you lose them, and you lose the momentum, you lose the engagement, and you lose the connection. Now, similarly, if you're having a difficult conversation with a partner or with somebody that you're arguing with, this is not the kind of thing that you want to do for longer than 90 minutes. You will reflect back in your life, and you will look and you'll notice that these engagements that take longer than an hour and a half, there's this law of diminishing return that kicks in. Things do not improve by just grinding at them. There's the story of the myth of Sisyphus. It's a Greek king who was quite clever and witty. And there's a word called hubris, which is about an unhealthy pride that especially men get. And the story was that he died, but every time they sent the messenger of death to come and collect him, he tricked it somehow. And he got himself out of the call, and he got himself out of Hades, and he dodged death. And finally, to balance the books and to make sure that the gods weren't humiliated by a man with hubris, they cursed Sisyphus to this life of having to push this boulder up a hill. So his afterlife, his pre-Catholic purgatory, is this act of waking up in the morning and pushing the boulder up the hill. And the promise to him is that if he can just get the boulder up this, because of course the boulder, the arc of the hill goes like this, and it almost turns up exponentially at the end, but there's a window on the top. And if he can push this boulder through that window, he gets to be immortal and live forever. Now, of course, it's in human nature to go, surely one more push, surely one more try, surely one more supreme effort, surely, because we're taught our whole life that one of the key virtues is trying. And there's a poem that I teach people, which is windowsills are the shrines to the small gods of trying, where one may always find more dead flies. So the fly, of course, tries to leave the house repeatedly over and over and over and over and over again. And it lacks the perspective of realizing that this is not the way out, and it will never come through this way. Now, we make the same mistake in our lives. We think, if an argument is worth having, or if a relationship is important, surely we just have to keep crushing it past this ultradian cycle of 90 minutes. And of course, we get the law of diminishing returns, and we can't do it. So the wisdom comes to us again. When do we strive, push against a boundary to try and get somewhere? And when do we practice the wisdom of letting go and accepting and finding out which is which? There's no magic answer for it, but there is a magic compass, which I'm going to give you. So The magic compass is this: am I doing this out of love, or am I doing this out of fear? So sometimes that gets confusing. Let's see if we can admit all. Some people were late. Sorry, folks. I don't know how long you've been waiting. Luis, sorry if you've been waiting long. I was mid-rant.
Oh, sorry. I thought I signed in on time.
No,
But
my bad, my mistake. Sorry.
it's okay. Hi,
So
everybody.
we're busy talking about the determination or the practicing of when to strive against a challenge and when to surrender to it, basically. And the first compass you use is this one of love versus fear. Am I doing what I'm doing for fear of losing something, for fear of failing, for fear of losing the person, or am I doing what I'm doing out of love? And sometimes stepping back is the act of love. And I can't determine that for you. You need to determine that for yourself. But here's the problem. In trying to get to the point where you can exercise that wisdom and knowledge of self, you have to be very clear, because we have all these chattering voices inside our heads that are convincing us of many different things at the same time. And we can't listen past all the noise. And usually this thing that has got us striving or pushing is, in fact, a sense of overwhelm, which by definition means it's difficult for us to step back from. So what do we need more than anything else? We need discernment. We need the lived present wisdom, which doesn't require consulting with anything or anyone else. It's just the knowledge that we have inside to determine whether this is a moment for stepping back and allowing, or this is a moment for pushing and striving, whether we want to focus on being or becoming, on integration or actualization. Any questions so far? Good.
Wow.
Okay, so we're good. Okay. So the reason that we practice facing discomfort is because we have three souls, or three parts to our soul, which come along for the ride. The one is the animal, your animal nature, your lusts, your hungers, your natural drives. They are not going to go anywhere, and there's nothing wrong with them, and they should cause absolutely zero shame or guilt. The second is the inner child, the one that needs reparenting, the one that needs to be gently walked back through the doors of the earliest wounds with voluntary vulnerability. And then you've got the chattering monkey mind, the solver of problems, the small I, not I, letter I, the small I, the one that wants to keep you safe, the one that wants to solve the problems, the one that wants to analyze and determine what's happening in the world and keep throwing solutions at every single problem. And when the adult, the spiritual adult, the psychological adult, the one that is still, when that is out the room, it's a party for these three. The animal provides the urges, the monkey mind provides the story, and the child provides the emotion. And all of it's all over the shop. And the reason for this is we cannot tell apart fear from danger. Now, danger is something to be avoided. But since we cannot tell them apart, we treat all fears like danger. So even when we arrive at a story, when we're telling ourselves that something is now terminal and going to be the end of us, we react to this as if it is full-blown danger. Similarly, we treat all pain as injury. So when somebody triggers us or hurts us or triggers an earlier wound, which they didn't cause, which we have, in the smallest way, a small argument, a small slight, somebody says something wrong at the coffee shop, you get angry in a road rage incident. These little moments arrive all the time because we cannot easily discern, and we're not aware that there's this marked difference between pain and injury. Injury is something we have to watch out for. Pain is something we can just endure if we choose to. And the final one is we cannot tell apart discomfort from oblivion. As soon as we become uncomfortable, our brain screams at us. We reach for our phone, we browse through Instagram, Facebook, we send meaningless chats, we put a streaming service on, we go get a snack out the fridge, we watch porn, we go get another coffee, we try and engage with somebody that's trying to be still, because we can't be still. And the problem with this is what is happening is it's your dopamine system in your brain that is trying to motivate you to ease its discomfort. And the problem with dopamine is it's a lie. No matter how many times you feed it, you'll feel good for a second, and 5 minutes from now, it will ask for more. And the only way to beat that, the only way to retrain it, is to give it better things to do that you feel better about. So this whole activity now needs to become one of self-mastery and of deliberate action and deliberate choice. And that is why I have a program which I run in my life. It's not a program anymore, it's just how I run my life. It's called Facing Discomfort. It's specifically chosen discomfort. Because the beauty of a chosen discomfort is, first of all, if you get past it, you have the inner high and dopamine hit of achieving a goal. And dopamine doesn't only want to reward you for bad things, it'll happily reward you for doing good things. It's got no agenda, it needs to be trained. And the second thing is you get to choose how you want to turn that dial up. You get to moderate your experience, and you get to slowly induct yourself into this kind of lifestyle and exercise. And that act of setting an intention, following through and executing on your intention, reflecting back afterwards and talking to the animal, the child, quieting the monkey mind, letting it just rattle. Reflecting back on that is the part that sets the signals and the insights to the nervous system and the neuroplasticity in your brain. And this is the part that when you get a good night's sleep will allow you to integrate what you are learning, and then it becomes your own. And slowly over time, you cannot be shocked, you are less easily triggered, and you can tell in a moment the difference between fear and danger. And even if danger arrives, even if an injury is there, the calmness of mind, the stillness, the clear presence that you want to bring to bear on the moment is still going to serve you better than unconsciousness or reaction or getting triggered. So who's got any questions about that to begin with? You're all on mute, by the way. Leave me hanging,
It's
guys.
just a lot to take in, all of it.
It is, but fortunately, you're going to have this video call to reflect back to, and you're going to be able to play it to yourself over and over again.
Yeah. That's why I didn't take notes. I was like, should I take notes? I'm
No,
like,
no, don't worry about the notes. The other thing is, if you look at the Instagram page, it's all there. It's the Laws of Sanity. They're there over and over again. There's a bunch of them. And you must understand that as a human being on this planet, you arrived here as a series of causes and effects, a chain of causality that goes all the way back to the very, very first movement, all the way back. The circumstances that conspire to bring you here and give you life are miraculous. And the way that we are programmed through our earliest evolutionary biology and DNA is avoid pain, seek out pleasure, and conserve energy. It's called the motivational triad. It's what makes you you. What you determine and what you identify as pleasure or pain, these things are reprogrammable. And in reprogramming them, you conserve a different kind of energy, not calories to survive, but stillness, so that you can navigate through your life with a lot more wisdom and a lot more purpose, a lot more self-direction. Because at the moment, we are like leaves buffeted around on the top of a rippling pond. And there's no self-direction here. And you can make as many affirmations as you want. But if you cannot become still in yourself, you are not choosing anything in your life. You are reacting. And you cannot choose what you want. You cannot choose what you want. You arrived here with your wiring and your programming the way it is today, right now. But you can choose to want what you would want to want. And that is the point. You can't choose, Renee, what you want. You just want good things, you want bad things. But you can choose what you would like to want. This is the kind of person I would like to be. And you can set those intentions and you can program your facing discomfort and your various other practices to give yourself these learned integrated lessons that become you, that you can now exercise as you move through the world. Is that making sense? Yes?
Is discomfort the path? If you feel discomfort, do you know you're on the right path?
Discernment is the path, and discomfort is a lever we can pull. Because the reason the motivational triad is primed the way it is, the top one is avoiding pain. Why? Because pain has been, up until now, evolutionarily, a reliable precursor towards injury. And injury is a reliable precursor towards death. So our DNA, our fear, is trying to keep us alive. It's a gift, not a curse. But we've evolved these busy monkey minds, these problem solvers. And the adult is not in the room. It's not that the adult left the room. The adult was never in the room. We are busy waking up. And part of waking up is stepping into a role of self-ownership. That was not there before. It was an empty pedestal that we attribute to isms or some form of authority, or a president, or a teacher, or a mommy, or a daddy, or a spiritual leader, or something, a philosophy, or whatever it is that we're chasing at the moment. But of course, these things are all halls of mirrors. We create these things. If you had to close your eyes, everybody close your eyes right now. And become still. Take a few deep breaths. Take the deep breath through your nose so the breath can hit these nerve endings in the bottom of your lungs. Activates the parasympathetic nervous system and releases cortisol, reduces stress, and makes you still. Imagine now, hold in your mind a little bit, some image of this paragon, this ideal that you've been chasing your life. This hero on the mountain, this king or this queen or this prince or this princess or this sage that you want to become yourself one day. How do they behave? What are their ideals? How do they conduct themselves? Now, realize that you invented that and have created it, and the distance between you and it is the measure of your own shame. Nothing more, nothing less. Because you have imagined it inside of you, it exists, and you are the creator of it. And the sooner you learn to step into that place and embody that behavior, you can come back to the room now. The sooner you learn to embody these ideals and realize which one of these are false ideals, like trying. Trying is a false virtue. Modesty is a false virtue. If you are just honest, simply honest, these are the things I can do. I've worked on them. I can do them well. These are the things I need to work on. No more, no less. Somebody gives you a compliment, if it's well, and you say, thank you. I've worked really hard at getting there. If somebody gives you feedback, even if it comes like a bit mean, you can say, look, I don't like the delivery, but there's something in that and I'm working on it. All you need here is honesty. You don't need shame. You don't need guilt. You don't need this bullshit of trying or this bullshit of false modesty. It's Catholic infected shame. It's the worst of the best ideas. Christianity and Catholicism had beautiful ideas. They are beautiful messages. That we've taken the worst of them and we've infected an entire generation with these terrible ideas of guilt and shame. And we need to get past them. We need to give ourselves the permission to sort this from that, to take the good and squeeze out the bad. And the only way we can do that is if we're clear in our little mirrors, in our compasses. We can tell love from fear, we can tell fear from danger, pain from injury, and discomfort from unbearability. And that is how we develop our discernment, and then we can exercise our will from a place of knowing. So, any more questions?
So resolve.
So resolve. Resolve is the follow through of intentionality. Because everybody has intentions or desires, but the dividing line between intention and attainment is resolve, because time is perfectly spaced to measure the depth of your commitment. Our hardships, our trials, our discomforts, they will keep coming because what they're doing are not punishing us. It is the universe giving you the opportunity, the test, to say, are you this thing that you think you are? Because how would you know how you want to behave in a moment, then you fuck up, and then afterwards you know how you wished you would have behaved. And then the moment comes again, and the moment will keep coming and keep coming and keep coming and keep coming until you can conduct yourself in the moment the way that matches with your intentions. And that is resolve. So how do we get
that? Should you celebrate those moments?
Yes. Yes, and I'm going to teach you the right way.
Oh.
Yes. So how do you get good at anything?
Practice.
So we need to establish a practice. We need to establish a practice that is going to work for ourselves. Now, few things. When you establish a practice, you give yourself the best chance of succeeding. You owe it to yourself to give yourself the best chance of succeeding. How do you do that? So if I wanted to eat healthy, I've got to get all the chocolates out of the house. If I want to get off alcohol, I have to get the beer out of the house. If I want to get my mind quieter, I've got to get off the Netflix and the social media and I've got to give myself a chance here. So we're going to spend a couple of days. I'm going to open the Google Sheets here quickly, real quick. There you go. And I'm going to share my screen. And we're going to talk about some stuff. Okay. How do I share the screen on this? Best of this. Okay, can everybody see that?
There we go.
It's a bit small.
Oh.
Can you see it? Is it a bit small?
Yeah. Fasting, cold immersion, meditate. No.
Okay, so this doesn't have to scare anybody, but what we're going to do is we're going to split the month up into 4 weeks. This is just an example. In the first week, we're going to start small. We're going to meditate daily. We're going to do cold immersion, but we're not going to go balls deep. We're just going to go to the measure of our own courage and our own preparation. I mean, we're going to dial it up. And then once a week, we're going to do either an 18-hour or a 24-hour fast. Now, you've got to be smart about these things. If you've got a heart condition, no ice baths. If you've got some blood sugar problems, you're not going to be doing fasting. Work something else out. I've got a detailed email, which I've already prepped, waiting for you guys. Facing Discomfort, week 1. And I'll tell you how to do the mindfulness, how to do the cold water immersion, and how to do the fasting. So all the detail will be there. One of the things we're going to do in the first week to prep for the second week is we're going to clean up our feeds. Now, what does it mean to clean up our feeds? I'll stop sharing. What does it mean to clean up our feeds? If you go through your Instagram, your Facebook, your Snapchat, whatever crap we all entertain ourselves with, 80% of that is shit. It's not adding value to your life, it's noise. That noise has to go. You don't have to unfriend people, you can unfollow them. You don't on Facebook. You don't have to unfollow them on Instagram, you can just mute them. If you truly know that this is either a toxic account or a toxic person, or it's noise, or it's spiritual junk food, or it's mindless entertainment, drop it. You've got 2 days. You've got 2 days next week where I'm going to send you reminders. I'm going to give you guidelines how to do this. It's going to be uncomfortable. But you're going to start with the intention that says, I am now taking charge of the digital diet that is coming my way. I owed myself this a long time ago, and I've neglected this responsibility. I'm not acting like the parent of my own inner child. I have digital crack cocaine at my fingertips here, and I've got an overactive dopamine system, and I'm feeding the beast all the time with no discernment. So now we're going to practice discernment. What do I really want to see when I open my feeds? Who do I really want to interact with? Do I really want to engage in mindless babble or pithy comments or silly, oh my God, girl, you look so gorgeous. All of that, I don't know if it's making our life better. Similarly, if you're going to watch television for that first week, pick something that's worthy. Watch TED Talks. Watch something that's uplifting and enriching. Watch something that is art. Surround yourself with art. Play inspiring music. Take 2 days to curate your feed. There is no secret bullet, secret pill, magic bullet, secret answer. Everything is just ownership, permission, courage, resolve, all of it. And it's hard at first and it feels overwhelming, like you've got to do 1,000 things. So you start small. You start small and you work them in, and they become your practice. Now, I've got the details in the email. I'll send it out to everybody. Once you've watched this call and you understand what we're talking about, and you feel you understand what it means to participate in this. Now, the reason, I'm going to share it just again quickly. The reason that this is on a Google Sheets is because there's a sheet for every single person here. And everyone's going to put their stuff in here. And you're going to know that everyone else can see your stuff. So in the example, if I did it on Tuesday, I've got a 1. If I didn't do it on Wednesday, I'll put a 0. But when I get to the end of my day or the end of my week, the zeros are not cause for shame. They are cause for reflection. What would I have liked to do? What could I have done better to have achieved that? What would I like to do better next time? Because the utility of guilt and shame in this exercise is absolutely 0. Because you're reparenting yourself and you're training an animal and you're quieting a monkey mind. If you throw shame at the problem, the monkey mind has a problem to solve and it'll become more active and you will lose the battle of stillness. You will lose the trust of the child and you'll lose the trust of the animal. So this is not about winning or losing. We're not here to pump each other's tires and encourage each other. We're here to encourage ourselves. We're here to witness each other, hold space for each other, acknowledge each other, give clear acknowledgements and clear witnessing to say, I can see that you struggled in the beginning, but you got there. This down here is for your notes. Be honest, be raw, be vulnerable. Let people witness what you have to say. And when we get together for our group shares, we can go over these things. Now, lost my train of thought. I was talking about something, then we digressed and we went to the screen. No matter. So, yes, this was it. So everyone now more or less knows what the shape of this is going to be. It doesn't mean you need to put yourself into a position of extreme discomfort, because that is not love, that is fear. We're not trying to coerce ourselves. We're not trying to break our own trust. We're not trying to do anything ridiculously extreme. We're trying to build something. Yeah. And so I'm assuring you that this is not going to, it shouldn't feel like it's breaking you. It should feel like it's exciting. It's exciting to step up into your own power. It's exciting to find your limits. Because only when you find your limits do you know what your power looks like, true you. And your current limits are not permanent limitations. They can be exceeded in time. So now that you know what this isn't, it's not fear factor. You're not going to be eating bugs. This is just getting a hold of yourself. Now that you know that, everybody that's on this call, I'm going to send you out an email, very simple one, to which you're going to have to respond with your consent to take part. Now, let's understand a little bit about consent. Consent is not asking permission and getting it from another person. It's almost like that, but it's different. Consent can only be asked of and given by an adult. And this is not somebody of legal drinking age. This is somebody who is responsible for their own choices, spiritually and psychologically, which means when you commit and you say and you give someone your consent, a yes can become a no, that's fine. But anything that goes right, there's no false modesty. You give credit where credit's due. And anything that goes wrong, you don't put the blame on somebody else's shoulders and say this disrupted my relationship or this disrupted my life. You own that. You find a way. And I need your consent, because we cannot continue without consent. Consent is the true treasurer of trust. I, adult, recognize the grown-up adult in you. And I'm making a compact here with you, expecting that you honor it or decline. And you don't have to say yes. You do what you feel is right. But anything that goes right in this, we win together. Anything that goes wrong in this, I'm not the guy to blame. I asked you for your full consent and you gave it, and now you must work it out. Consent is the true treasurer of trust. Promises are just the loan shark. Right. So the next trick is going to be consent. When we give and receive with consent, that is true giving and receiving. Everything else is taking, enduring, abusing, invading. And that's not what we're doing here. We're not pressurizing each other to do anything. We're not pleasing. We're not acquiescing. We're giving consent. So channel your best self, read the email, I'll send it off to you. You reply to me with consent. When you reply to me with consent, I'll send you the nice pretty picture email with all of the instructions in it, and you're in. That simple. So in the beginning, we're going to start off with meditation. You just need to do it for 5-10 minutes a day. If you're going to tell me that you're not somebody who meditates, you're about to start. Meditation is not thinking with your eyes closed. It's not stopping your mind from thinking, and it's not stopping emotions or feelings coming up. It is the practice of observing the mind coming with thoughts, the body coming with sensations, and the inner child coming with emotions, and realizing you are not the author of these things. That's what we're going to practice. I've got some guided meditations online. I'll send you the links for that. Otherwise, I'll send you recommendations for apps you can download. Now, in the couple of days between now and Tuesday when we start, now is the time when you must now quickly get this follow-up email, quickly figure out whether you want to give consent or not. Send it to me so I can send you the recommendations. You can find your app, download it onto your phone, figure out how it's going to work, get yourself prepared so that come Tuesday, we can all kick off together. Any questions?
It's an app that we download?
You can do whatever you like. So there are 3 apps I'll recommend, but as I said, I also have some recorded ones on YouTube that might help people. You can find your own ones. What I would avoid is finding ones that are, so what I want you to do is I want you to close your eyes and imagine yourself at a beach, dreaming at the waves. Like, that's not going to help us here. Luis does meditations in Spanish. He's been a mindfulness coach for the last few years. I've been trying to get him to do ones in English. Maybe now he'll start.
Yes, I will face my discomfort in giving meditations in English, so I think that's a good start.
Okay, so what you can maybe do is, everybody, if you've got pen and paper around, just take Luis's Instagram address. And if you follow that, I have it on good authority that Luis will record at least one English meditation for Tuesday. Thanks, Luis. I haven't checked with him before. I just threw him right in it.
Thank you, Rocco. I feel very uncomfortable. No, it's good. It's good.
Okay, great. And as I said, I also recorded 3, but they're more lessons. So there's a bit of preamble and talking up front, which might be a little bit distracting, but even that would be a wonderful practice of mindfulness. So I'll send you that in a letter that I've got prepped already. You need to give yourself the best opportunity. No kids, no pets, no digital noise around. Just make yourself comfortable. One thing that's important here, no virtue. It doesn't matter how straight you sit. Just be comfortable for now. We're not trying to win gold stars. There's no secret invigilator or final Anubis judge that's going to say to you, oh, you sat the straightest. You please come in. Never mind those other ones. Here's the secret door for you. Here's all your gold stars that you earned for your amazing posture during meditation. It doesn't exist. The only person that you get permission from is yourself. If you are sitting sincerely, if your intentions are pure, if you are trying to do the work, that is all that is needed. That is all that is needed. That's the meditation component. I find meditating in the morning is better. It's a beautiful start to my day. It sets me up better. What's in the chat? Okay, so Luis has just put his Instagram handle in the chat. It's at Kreimoksha, KREIMOKSHA. So for anyone who speaks Spanish, you can find some wonderful meditations there already. Otherwise, I'm sure by Tuesday or Wednesday, Luis will be cracking. Okay. Where was I? Oh yes, meditation. So I tend to do it in the mornings, not in the evenings. As it happens, I do both. But in the evenings, for me, it's more a case of trying to just reach that stillness again, because there's so much busyness and latent drama of the day that I have to process. Most of that work for me is energetic now, not meditative. But in the mornings, it's fantastic, nice fresh start to the day. I get out there and I do my meditation, and it sets me up for the rest of the day. Also, if you tend to do it at night, there's a chance that you can fall asleep. The cold showers. These are also something we're going to do ideally in the morning. If you do it late at night, the problem is it fires up your metabolism and it's probably going to interrupt your sleep. And it's not exactly when you want your energy to peak. But if you give yourself a good crack, a cold blast in the morning, that's exactly when you want the metabolism to kick in and your energy to kick in. And it works much better for setting your circadian rhythms. If you're dealing with depression and anxiety or stress, it is fucking fantastic. Getting up in the morning and having a cold shower it's a balm. It really, really, really just brings everything back down to baseline. So what we're going to do when we do this now. Say again?
You can take your cold shower before meditation or after.
I don't really.
Whatever.
Either or, yeah. So the trick with cold showers is if you're starting off, wash your body with warm water and soap, step out, adjust it down to your level of comfort, but make sure it's cold, not lukewarm. But it doesn't have to be freezing, so you can leave a bit of warm going when you first start out. This is how I want you to breathe. About 20 of those. A couple of things are happening. After you've done your 20 pumps, you say to yourself, I've got this. And you step into the cold water, no shrieking, no hopping, the point is calmness of mind. To face the discomfort, you have to be present for the discomfort. You just watch it, watch the body, watch the mind screaming, watch the animal freaking out, and try and get a stance of composure. Let it run through your hair. For ladies, if you don't want to get your hair wet, that's fine. Just make sure it gets your face and your neck and your ears. Get it under your arms, get all the lymph nodes. Get it in your groin, get it down your back. When you feel like you want to get out, that's your flag for starting your practice. The timer starts now. This is what cold feels like. This is what uncomfortable feels like. That's all. You just need to be under there for 20, 30, 40 seconds. Not for 2 minutes. You're not going to freeze to death. Just sit through the discomfort. You can face 20, 30 seconds of discomfort. You can do it. Anybody can do it. If you've got some heart condition, don't make the water too cold. It's your responsibility. You come with your consent. You make it. You keep yourself safe. When you get out, dry yourself off with a nice dry towel. Not rougher the better, and get everywhere. It will stimulate all the blood flow in your body. Comb your hair, dry your face, look yourself in the mirror, and say, "I did not look away." I can do this. I've got this. Every single day. And then slowly you can arc up the cold water. And then later on, when you're no longer a beginner, you put that cold water on, you pump your breath, you step in. Ten, 20 seconds. Calmness. When there's no more panic, you know you're doing it right. The pumping of the breath will help break that shock impulse. It diminishes the impact of the shock. Coming to the fasting. So I ate this night, sunset, about 5:30. I won't eat again until 5:30 tomorrow in the evening. If it's your first time fasting like this, I don't recommend doing 24 hours. Go 18 hours. Have your last meal at dinner time, not too late. I wouldn't go later than 6:30, 7 at the utmost. And then you need to count 18 hours from that point. So it'll be just after midday then, when you have your next meal. If you're suffering from the jitters or the shakes, drink a bit of coconut water. Just water. You can do this. And you're going to get hunger pains. You are not dying. You have enough fat on your body to keep you alive for several days. You'll be okay. When you feel hungry, when you get the headaches, this is what hungry feels like. It passes. It goes away. The more you think about it, the more you dramatize it, the worse it gets. This is what hungry feels like. It's okay. I've got this. And when you break your fast, no scoffing, no gorging, no unhealthy food. You break your fast the healthiest way you can. And as you're sitting there enjoying your meal with gratitude, you say, I didn't look away. I did this. I did this thing. Just once a week. Just once a week. Anyway, now we can have questions. Alexis, I know that English is not your first language, so I don't know if you followed all of that.
Yes, I'm okay.
Sarah, we good?
Yeah, we're good.
Okay. Renee?
Mhm. Yes.
Okay.
That was
Romy,
wonderful.
my beautiful sister, are you well?
Yes, actually, I'm already doing a lot of these things.
Yes, it's almost like you've worked with me before.
down.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. We're going to find some other stuff to dial up your discomfort. Morgan, all good?
Good.
Alistair, my friend.
Yes, I'm good, thank you. All good.
Good, brother. Al? You're on mute there, sissy. Okay, got a thumbs up. Vivian's off screen. All good,
Got
Vivian?
it. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Yes, I'm good, thanks. I've also been doing the meditation and the cold immersions for about 2 weeks now, so I'm good.
Excellent. We'll find something to dial your discomfort up. Luis.
The fasting will definitely.
Yes, there we go. There we go. And the digital detox.
Never did the fasting.
Oh, it'll be good. Luis?
I'm good and excited. And
Okay, good. Catherine?
happy.
Hi. Yes, good.
You
I've been
said-
doing, but like only not 24, never 24.
Okay, well, it's not an endurance, so it's just the practice. So 18 is absolutely fine. The whole point is just being able to tell yourself it's okay. That's the main thing. Yeah. Petrus,
Yeah, good, yeah.
lekker.
Yeah.
Okay. Charlotte, no questions?
Yes. No, great.
Okay.
I'm excited.
Excellent. All right. So we have 8 minutes left on the call for what I scheduled, but we don't have to use every single second up. So if nobody has any questions, all the people that were on this call, I will send that request for consent out now. And if I get your consent, I will send you the week one, and we're on and we're off.
Oh, Rocco, I have a question.
Please.
When is our next meeting? Next Sunday or?
Yes, ideally Sunday this time.
Okay, yeah.
Might not be easy for everybody, but I've got a 6-week-old baby, and I've got to get up for 5 o'clock tomorrow morning. So this is about as good as it gets for me. And I had a look at where everybody is, and this is the lesser of various evils. So
yeah.
If anyone's got any other questions on the post, the work, the podcast, this program, hit me. So.
I mean, it sounds like everything's going to be described in the email. I mean, I have questions, but I know you've already thoughtfully answered them, and I can read them in an email.
Yeah, exactly.
But this is just super fun. Like, this is really exciting. Thank you for doing this, Rocco.
No, you're very, very welcome. You're very welcome. I just thought, we can talk forever, but if we don't start putting our intentions into practice and executing, then we just we dick around forever. And it's not a case of trying or striving or trying to win at everything. That's not how we get there. Life will keep kicking our ass over and over and over and over again until we realize that You don't get to win everything. You just don't. Can you sit with your discomfort? Can you sit with your pain?
Everybody has their dues in life to pay.
Exactly right. And life can seem very cruel sometimes. It can seem very cruel. It can take a lot from us. And the one thing I wrote today is your life is not happening to you, it's happening for you. And it's hard to tell that sometimes. It's very hard to tell that sometimes. I've been through some dark, difficult moments, and there's some people on the call here today that I know some of their personal background, and it's not easy. It really isn't easy. And it'd be very flippant and trivial to say, oh, just suck it up and get over it. That attitude is exactly why we struggle so much with our lives, because we've been programmed to just suck up and get over it, and we cannot. We need to face a lot. There's a lot of inner child wounds that need to be picked up and healed very, very carefully. We need to build trust with the animal, build trust with the child. We need to find that stillness where we can sit and pull all those pieces together and become a full, whole, complete, enlightened, awakened self that can actually do good in the world, in our own lives and the relationships around us. And that does not spare us from pain or from trauma. It spares us from the story of those things. And we can start writing our own story. And, you know, if you're not aware of the currents, you're not in charge of the swim. If you're not aware of the shape of the canvas that you're trying to paint on, you're not really the artist of your own life. So we need to start figuring these things out. So there's a bunch of questions that will come in week 3. We're going to face some emotional and psychological discomfort. But it's going to be healing, and it's going to be enlightening. And these are golden questions. They're questions we should have asked ourselves and been asked a long time ago. And no bad can come of it. Okay, everyone. Thank you very much for your time. And just how lovely to see so many people on the call and getting involved and here with the right attitudes. It's just amazing. It just goes to show when you put something like this out in the world with good intentions, the right people arrive, and it's truly wonderful. So
I have a question, Rocco. Hello?
Should,
would it be okay to take a picture of the group if everybody's okay?
Yeah, how do I do that?
If you'd like, I can screenshot it, or
Yeah, do that.
Okay. See everybody.
That's wonderful. Does everybody want to put their best smile on?
Okay, again.
Okay. I look like a sociopath on a daddy profile. I'm holding up a fish. Okay, everyone. That's wonderful. Listen here, I strongly recommend you join the Telegram channel. I know I'm getting you to do more apps and things, but there really just isn't smarter ways to connect these days.
What's the code for that? I know Shiloh's having a hard time finding what to type in on Telegram to join the group, the link. Right, Shiloh?
Hold on, let me find it. The only reason I've done it is because I don't want to heap shit on Instagram, but it's not really built for the kind of quality of engagement that I'm trying to drive, really. Give me 1 second. It's pretty shallow, and I'm struggling to find the members. Invite via link. There we go. Copy link. There we go. I'm pasting it into the channel. There you go. There's the invite. And the point is, the kind of work we're doing and the intention that I always had with that page is a lot more direct engagement, a lot more action. I don't just want to talk wisdom at people. It's ridiculous. I really want to give people tools so they can start taking command of their own lives in profound ways. And I've found profound ways, extremely profound ways. And they didn't come from dusty old books. They came from places nobody else wanted to look. And of course, this is where the keys are hiding. The keys are always hiding where nobody wants to look, behind fear. And the courage to give ourselves permission to decide our way is another kind of fear that we need to get past. And what I want to give you all are keys where you can define the permission for yourself on how you want to define what your life ought to look like and your relationship with your life ought to look like. We're all trying to reach the end of our journeys and face what has happened with the fewest amount of regrets. And everything that you do from fear will visit you with regret. And everything that you do from love, there will be regrets, but they won't feel the same. They will not feel the same because you will know, I did my best. I did my best from love with courage. I wasn't trying to please. I wasn't afraid of losing. I showed myself love. And to do that, we cannot. The only right way to worship is your own way. The only right way to practice is your own way. The only right path to walk is your own path. And I don't want anyone to follow my path. I want you all to find that wisdom in yourself, that voice, the knowing. But there's too much noise. We need ways now to dial the noise down, to find the stillness. You need words to be given to you. You need someone like me to come along and say, no, here is permission. This is how you give it to yourself. Anyway, I shall send you all the request for consent. It's been a lovely evening. For you that are still facing the better part of your day, have a lovely day. And thank you so much for participating. And thanks for all the wonderful energy that has come together in this virtual room. Speak to you soon.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
Thank you, Rocco. Thank you.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.